What y'all listening to?
Limelight Highlight Podcast.
Welcome back to the show, your positive podcast and safe space and great place for a positive outlook on life. Now, it's been about 2 weeks since we've last talked, maybe a little over 2 weeks, and a whole lot has happened. Between the coronavirus and politics to a massive movement reaching across the world, making it the largest civil rights movement in history, a lot has happened and continuing to happen. As I've said time and time again, I do this podcast to try and show that it's not all bad. You know, to be a little light in the dark space of negative media and news out there. But with everything going on, I felt a little conflicted sharing just positive news because right now, if anything needs to be highlighted, it's this movement that's taken place. It wasn't really the time for me to share. It was time for others to speak out, and I don't want to interfere. I don't want to take away from anything that they said for any of the people who kind of just come here for positive news. So I felt that it was better to let other voices be heard, you know, the voices that need hearing, especially right now. So we're going to dive into some of what's been going on in today's discussion. But before we get to the podcast, I just wanted to share that The Block Gives Back has been on a constant roll with feeding people free meals every Saturday since the lockdown started. There's been a mass influx of donations, and they have been able to give out boxes of groceries as well as their newsletter that they have, this new newsletter. Their growth has been inspirational, and they truly make me want to be better and do more. Tyreek, one of the founders of The Block Gives Back, was featured on the latest season of Queer Eye, episode 5, North Philadelphia story. It was amazing. Brought some tears to my eyes. Very good insight on how a lot of people grow up, and just shout out to Tyreek. I'm glad that he was able to get the opportunity that he got on that show and highlight some of The Block Gives Back. So it was a win-win for everybody. August 22nd, they're having, once again, their Block to School drive, and I will be helping sponsor that drive again. Last year, I had the honor of being one of their sponsors, and for that drive, they collectively gave out 350 bags packed with school supplies to the kids that need them. This year, they set a goal of 1,000 bags packed with supplies to give out to kids right before the school year starts. So if you want to get in on this amazing event, you can do so by donating, sharing, volunteering, anything you can help to get us to that 1,000 bag goal. Check out their website and see how you can help this amazing organization. Their website is theblockgivesback.org, and you can find all the information on that website. Now, on this episode, I'm joined today by my good friend Zeek. He was one of the first people that actually helped me figure out how to really get into this podcasting space, and he's been a huge supporter of mine from day one. So we used to work together for a few years ago, and we've had many long talks about numerous topics, and his opinion is one that I highly value because his honesty is non-biased and he has some really constructive thinking. So the language in this episode is not as clean as other episodes, so I just want to give you that disclaimer if you have some young ones around listening. I hope you enjoy this conversation and it gives you a different perspective on what people of color are feeling right now or just simply going through. So enjoy. All right, I got Zeek, Thanos, Trillmonger. On the podcast. For those of you who don't know, Zeek was actually one of the original Enlightened Heathens members.
Yes, sir.
Of the first podcast that I've ever done, and helped me with a lot of stuff. Zeke and I go back a few years now. Probably one of the best co-workers I've ever had.
You said 2 years?
I said a few years.
Oh, I was about to say 2 years? It feels like it's been a while, man.
Yeah, it's been a minute. But one of the reasons I wanted to get on the podcast with you, or wanted you on the podcast, is because of all the stuff going on. You know, we got COVID, we got the protests going on. And for the most part, me and you, we just share memes on the internet, on Facebook, on our page. And you don't really ever take anything too serious, at least on Facebook, because, I mean, it's not a great platform for people to really express their emotions and opinions, although I find myself constantly doing that. But you did, I did see a post that you posted up that you were addressing some stuff that I thought was a little not what you do.
Right.
So I wanted to hear your opinion, because for anyone who knows you, for you to express your opinion on Facebook like that, it's something really had to bother you.
Yeah. So what was going on with that, man, was like I said, I think Facebook is like one of the most terrible places to like set up debates and stuff, because all people do in the comments is just bicker back and forth, and you never change anybody's opinion.
Right.
And so I'm sitting watching this whole protest thing go down, protest riot, it's both going on, and I feel like they're separate entities, and people are like making arguments against the protest and the riot as if they're one thing, which that's kind of frustrating too. But the thing that really got me was I have a bunch of friends who are acting as if like racism is not an issue at all. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I made that post. It's like, oh no, y'all wilding. Just because it is better than it has been in the past doesn't mean it's not an issue, not at all. So I just kind of put out my experience from being like a teenager, growing up in Houston, which was basically being stopped and frisked like a lot. And when I was a kid, I didn't even know that was a thing. It's not even a thing in Texas. They just used to do it to us. It's not like how it is in New York. And so I just let people know that stuff. And I think guys kind of got it, because I've been questioned about it a few times in person. I think guys kind of got it because they don't share that same experience. Like my coworkers and stuff, they don't share that same experience at all. So it's like, oh, that really happens. Like, yeah, man, all the time. Can't go to the corner store. Like, you roll the dice, you can get searched. That's how it goes. Yeah,
they don't know what racial profiling is.
Exactly. And like I say, I think what happens with that stuff, especially when they're not around minorities and stuff like that, all they see is either I don't think they even consider it, honestly. And so they just think everything's cool, and then something happens. Because I keep seeing guys say, you're being manipulated by the media, because basically there's been no police brutality, but then there is one, and then everybody makes a big deal. So all that happened is one black dude died, and now y'all losing your minds. And it's just like, nah, bro. This is like, that's like the camel that
pattern.
Yeah, that's the camel that's the straw above the camel's back. That's not something that's like super rare. It's super rare you get it on camera and have it be that gruesome. That's super rare. But the situation ain't super rare like that. And so I was just trying to give my perspective without being like argumentative.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard topic to bring up for a lot of people, because, like you said, they don't share the same experience. And what blows my mind is how out of touch they are with so much, especially everything's on video. We got videos of with the protest alone, all the egregious acts that these cops are throwing people on the ground, and just it blows my mind that how can you not see that this is going on? Like, we're not blowing things out of proportion.
I was watching a whole like compilation of that, like just the riot guards or the police, whoever they are. It seemed like it's more than one group of cops and stuff. They pushed the old dude down, bust his head. They pushed another old guy down. He didn't get hurt as bad. A whole bunch of regular protesters. Some people on their knees, like people that are in no way a threat. Could be annoying the cop though, because they're standing in front of the cop. Yelling Black Lives Matter, so that could be annoying to the cop. But you're watching these dudes get frustrated, these cops, and it's like, dude, they're protesting police brutality. They're saying you're taking shit too far. And even when the spotlight's on you, you're being recorded, you can't hold back. And I've just watched those videos like, yo, they don't get it. They don't get it.
And what pisses me off is, like you said, it's literally what we're protesting, you're doing to us while we're protesting it.
Yeah.
It's almost a parody. An unfunny, really sad parody, because you have those people, and I think the most egregious thing is those people, like the police officers, are doing exactly what everyone is protesting about, but acting as if they're untouchable.
Yeah.
Like, oh, cool. I'm going to do this knowing damn well that there's cameras everywhere. And to the point where my wife, she tagged me in this post where a lot of the cops are covering their badges and their name tags. It's like, bro, what are we? You got to be joking. This can't be real life.
Bro. Public service, man. It's so wild.
This can't be real life, and it is. And it's just, it blows my mind that this is where we've gotten to.
Yeah.
And people still don't get it.
Yeah. It's crazy. Did you see that one guy? I think he was on Twitter or something. Police chief down in Florida. And he was saying, like, hey, if you get fired up there, come on down here, we're hiring.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a slap in the face to the people. It is complete and utter disrespect. They don't care about anybody or what they have to say.
Yeah. And like I said, I always try to make the clear distinction, man, because I do feel like sometimes the messaging, not sometimes, all the time, the messaging gets fucked up. Like I said, the separation between a looter versus a protester or a rioter and a protester. I see people even that have the same opinion I have still would just be like, well, I mean, fuck it. They're looting, but like they're still kind of considering the same group, and it's like, dude, it's not the same group. And I saw from the very beginning, man. Like, I think the first one I saw was somebody trying to burn down an AutoZone, and they were trying to say it was an undercover cop, and I was like, that looks like some Antifa dude, man. And then you start seeing more of them, and I was like, and then you start seeing like they're all like real thin and stuff like that. And you're like, that's Antifa like a motherfucker. I figured that shit out like on day 2, and you just realize like that's a whole different thing that's happening. But all the people that are anti this movement, they're making those things one group, and they're just like, yeah, like we think that the cop that killed that dude was wrong, but you're going about it the wrong way, and it's just like those are two different groups, man.
Yeah, and it sucks because there's validity in both of those things, on both of those sides. Yeah, where you do have those Antifa guys who are really looting and breaking stuff. Yeah. And you also still have undercover cops dressed as regular people shoving, like on video, shoving people into the police, starting confrontation.
Oh, yeah? I haven't seen that.
Yeah, dude, there's tons. Like, they show close-ups of, like, you could see the wiring in their ears. Yeah. They even, like, threw out, I think it was a theory, but a very, like, a made-sense theory where the regular civilians are wearing, like, these steel-toe boots and colored armband for the day. So cops know, oh, these are the guys who are, So it's like some of it might be conspiracies, but at the same time, there are people doing those things which make it valid, which makes the whole thing even more gross and sloppy and constantly divisive. Yeah.
And that's always been like an old school tactic. So like if you can incite violence, then you have the justification to end it with violence. So if I'm a cop and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get this protest done quick as hell, they either going to be out here for a week protesting, and even without the looting, you'd be like, yo, they could be out here for a week protesting, clogging up streets and stuff like that. So if I could just push one of these dudes to another cop and let these cops start saying, yo, this is hostile, and, bring back law and order, all of a sudden the protest is over. The thing is just so many people this time. And so even when the cops are trying to fight back, it's not working. It's too many people.
Dude, I'm watching videos online of people showing things like the one video in Philly. There's like 4 or 5 cops running in this direction, and just a mob of people running after the cops. Like,
I saw that.
We're gonna kill you guys, and it's like, this is what happens.
That was crazy.
What blows my mind is the people still today who are like, I don't understand why it got so out of hand. Yeah. It's like it's a pattern. You got people with the no-knock raids killing a nurse in her bed.
And that shit's even scarier.
Locking up the man who, her I don't know if it was her boyfriend or her husband, who shot back because he thought people were coming in the house, locking him up for shooting at the cops. Like, you come in unannounced. Like, we're literally practicing our constitutional rights. Yeah. And you're locking people up for it. Yeah. And it's not the first time. And it's just a pattern. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And you still don't understand why people are the way they are. Yeah. There was a video on Twitter, and it was this guy in, I think it was